You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays and Tyler Stewart. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify or YouTube so you never miss an episode. Now, to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
He described it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
And let's say it like.
And I'm telling you right now, if this was a bear, then this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man. No, this wasn't no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
Welcome back to the Kentucky X-Files. Today we're outside because we had some good feedback on previous episodes. You guys like the ambience noise. It sounds really good. So we're out here with the fire kicking. So yeah, on Denny's farm.
Yep.
Just back on the hunt for the big guy.
Yep. Talking
about the big guy.
It's been a big week for
Yeah.
for the big guy.
Yep.
And some other subjects too. The UFO disclosures. That's getting closer and closer. A lot of people are wondering why now.
Yeah, why now?
You know, that's the big thing on everybody's mind lately.
I really feel like a lot of people out there, you're like, finally.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're like a lot of people are conflicted because finally, or yeah, why now? Like you took all this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have like some of evidence of the extraterrestrials, but
right.
they don't. They're now saying
why.
So
after all these years, you know, and like Roswell.
Yeah.
And you go all the way back to Roswell, and it's this huge, you know, black curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to tell you guys about that. Don't worry about it. That'll be like next month. We'll talk about it. It'll be great.
Yeah, it's going to be on NBC.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm real interested.
I'm really interested too.
You know?
Hopefully, leave a comment or something about it if you guys want us to talk anything about that. I think we have something that we're wanting to work on for that particular thing.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
if you guys want us to hear our takes on the whole UFO extraterrestrials, leave a comment. Just try.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that we haven't done. I think we hoped people would, but we should be. You know, you guys, you constant listeners that have made this into, you know, a real thing. You know, let us know. You know, tell us what you think. You know, I mean, if you can help us improve this show, we appreciate it, man. I've never been a podcaster before. Have you? No, never. So it's literally, you know, like...
If anybody listens, they know that I can't form a sentence sometimes, so I'm just an average Joe myself, so...
Yeah, we're a couple guys that are putting puzzles together the same as you know. And honestly, the folks that have reached out over this last week, we've had a few. One was a listener named Robert. If I got that wrong, I apologize. I'll correct it. But Robert was down in Pikesville, Kentucky, and unfortunately, I wanted him to be on the show with us.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he had developed. I think I want to say within the last 5-6 years, he actually had cancer and lost part of his jaw, and he was a little unsure how he would be on the phone talking to us. So he wrote me his whole story, which was mind-blowing, and I'd like to go into it. You know, at some point I'd like to go into it. I wanted to put a few different stories that have been sent in together and just kind of go into all of them, you know, but Robert asked for some advice in dealing with what he considered a really big, hairy chicken thief. His words. It's amazing. And I guess he had a big guy near his property, or maybe he still does. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he asked me, what I thought and what I thought he could do to maybe try to dissuade it from continuously stealing his livestock, his poultry. And I gave him some advice just based on our patterning, everything we've been researching and putting together. And the one thing that I found that was a kind of a constant was that I don't think the big guy likes bright light. I don't think they like ultraviolet.
Yeah, I can concur to that, because everybody's always said that they feel that these creatures move mostly at nighttime.
Yeah.
They do have encounters during the daytime, but
yeah,
I don't think I've actually heard a lot of those encounters. But if they do, I feel like it's only because that they're maybe the
person got too close or something.
Yeah,
I don't
or
know.
They were wondering, because if it's in the daytime, their vision's probably limited at best.
Yeah.
So they're probably wandering around, or they're moving for some reason.
Yeah.
They have to be, because if they move solely at night, it has to be a good reason. Maybe that's the reason why they tend to throw rocks, make noises at them when it's or be aggressive during the day.
Yeah.
Maybe
they get
because
aggravated.
Yeah, because I know when I'm in pitch black, I can't even see my hand from
out
my
in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
when I'm out in the middle of the woods in pitch darkness, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I get that sense of awareness, because you can't see, you don't know what's around you. You get nervous. Maybe that's for them. They really can't see what's around them.
I see what you're saying.
So they're on the defensive.
Yeah, it could be similar to people who experience extreme migraines during the day. The brightness. My wife's one of them. She gets that. Yeah, but I sort of told him. I said, look, I there's no science to this yet. I was like, but we're working on it. I was like, if you haven't had any violent encounter, you've just had some kind of standoff encounters.
Yeah.
And you've definitely caught it or him in the act. So I sent him a link. I sent him a link to Amazon to some 150 watt ultraviolet lights for reptile cages. And I said, maybe put these up around your coop and see if see if we got a little bit of wind coming in. See if you got see if it helps. See if it maybe dissuades him a little bit. Sure as shit. Sure as shit, he messages me back. It's probably about a week and a half later, I think. Maybe. I didn't know if I'd ever hear from him again. I don't know. It's difficult to vet emails coming in, because we know there's still folks out there that are creative. I'm going to say creative. Let's just go with that. And he messaged me back and says, he goes, I know why you told me to buy extra bulbs now. He goes, it's because he's like, the son of a bitch didn't get back into the coop, but he did throw a rock and break one of the bulbs. And he's like, and I could hear him out there screaming like he was angry. And as far as I know, it quieted down. And I advised him to. I actually told him he should send his story out. He should send it. If he wants to send it to me, fine. If he wants to send it out to like Scott Carpenter or Steve over on How to Hunt, I was like, get it out there, man. Because I thought, man, if there's a small chance that my advice helped, well, guess what, folks? If you're out there in the woods, keep an ultraviolet flashlight on you. They don't like it. It may be able to buy you time. It may be able to back them off. We don't know. We don't know if they're violent. We don't know if they really are taking people. We don't know anything. All we have is each other's word for it. So if they are violent, then think about that for a second. Their night vision is incredible. They move around a lot in the dark, you know. They stay hidden. They have everything you need to be a very, very, you know, efficient nocturnal hunter. Ultraviolet light, and a powerful one. You know. Or not ultraviolet, did I say? Yeah, ultraviolet. Yeah. I keep trying to correct myself that I don't accidentally say infrared.
Yeah.
Because infrared is a much lower light spectrum, and I don't think it's going to do what you're hoping it will do. I actually think that if they see infrared, that it literally, I don't feel like it's going to do anything to them. I really don't. I think they can see it, but I don't think it's a bright, brilliant light, you know. Or it could be. I could be wrong. Like I said, there's no science yet, but we're working on it. You know, so big stuff, you know. But over on How to Hunt, somebody brought up one of Steve's folks that wrote him in said you know, they sent him a huge email about the comparisons of the behavior of the Sasquatch encounters. You know, the agitation, the throwing things, you know, the beating on trees with whatever, you know, the hooting and the screaming, you know, and all that. And they compared it to high functioning autism. You know, I believe, I might have, if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize, but you know, if you look into the world of autism, that's a humongous spectrum. You can't compare. I mean, it's hard to compare autistic people to anyone else, because I've always gotten the feeling from an autistic person that I'm dealing with a higher life form here than myself. They somehow are gifted with the ability to literally just peel away all the bullshit and focus on, you know, the what I consider the sacred geometry of life. You know, these are artists, architects, you know, brilliant minds trapped in a body that's just not as advanced as them, in my opinion. You know, I have a high opinion of autistic people. I think that I heard them described years ago as someone had believed that the autistic were the descendant of the Nephilim, that they were brilliant, and that's what brought me full circle. That's the pattern. These are obscure details that I picked from years apart. Mm-hmm. The comparison between high functioning autism of the Sasquatch, you know, and then the Sasquatch, and then years ago hearing someone actually say that, you know, I believe it was a religious person, someone who was deeply religious, said that they believed that autistic people were a descendant of, you know, the angels or autistic people, you know. Mm-hmm. I think that's it's beautiful. Like, that, to me, that's beautiful. That's poetic.
Well,
you know?
That is like kind of crazy that they say the same thing. We went over it a while back ago about the whole
the Nephilim
and stuff, and they're saying that these giant creatures are sons and daughters of angels and humans.
Right. Yeah.
And then now they're saying the same thing about autistic people. Yeah. So yeah, that's weird. Like, it goes, like you said, full circle with both of them. So it's weird. Like two of the main things that we see in them are saying the same thing. So what were they seeing? I'm not saying that I'm not a religious person, so I can't really say the whole Nephilim thing is true or any of that. But what was they seeing? Like, was they seeing the same, like, seeing similarities in the autistic people and in the Sasquatch back then? Right. So that was actually it's pretty cool seeing people doing that comparison and understanding that. And I've heard some people say this one other time, but they kind of briefly went over it. But that story you were talking about, what that guy sent into Steve, he kind of went into it very deep, because I don't want to go too much into it because it's Steve stuff. But
yeah, definitely. I mean,
go
anybody,
watch,
go watch it.
Go watch
it's
it.
incredible, you know.
But like how he described how they act, like they would be curious about him when, because he lived next to 2 children that have autism. The guy.
Yeah.
And he said that they were always curious about him. Never really had, like, if he looked over, they looked away.
Yeah.
Like, and then they want to, like, what struck me the most was they got good grades.
Yeah.
In school.
That's what he said. They were brilliant.
Yeah, and they got good grades, and then they would sit it on his porch.
Yeah.
They never, like, handed it to him.
They would leave gifts. You know?
They would leave, like, stuff like that to him.
Just making sure. It's so bright I can't tell, you know, what the recorder is doing. I'll edit that out. It's the only thing I don't like about this thing. I need to get a better tripod where I can aim it. I just want to make sure it's rolling, you know. But continue, sorry about that.
They would lay their stuff,
their good grades and papers,
because they.
And then when he went to, he was talking to the mother, and he said he knew they were right around the corner listening, and he would say stuff like, you know,
oh, that's awesome.
I really love seeing their good grades, and they loved it, but they wouldn't have direct contact, you know, like direct eye contact, direct anything, you know. And
so they stayed with. So like put that in perspective too. The same thing, like he compared it to like them leaving gifts.
Yeah.
Take like being curious. Like how many encounters have we heard about them like looking in the windows? Like they don't look like they're a big hairy creature. It looks scary, but the look on everybody, like they always say the look on their face is more like,
yeah,
what is this? What are they doing?
Yeah, it's curious.
They're
working it out.
Yeah,
you know?
They're working it out in their mind, and you got to think about it. They don't understand because of where they live. They only know what's in front of them, how they've been raised.
Right.
So they're not like I would say your typical autistic person. So, but I feel like that's where the autistic part of them comes to shine in the wilderness, and they strive. They're the greatest, like, survival.
Absolutely, yeah.
Survivalist.
It's like they know. They just know what they need to do and what to just live.
They have that pattern stuck in their head.
I know, like up until thus far, we never really go into too much details about our own lives, but something interesting in a conversation we had yesterday, which was following your gut instinct, and how logic and thought is it's adversarial of your gut instinct. Your gut instinct is usually dead on. And then when you start to make logic of it, and you start to try to think critically of what your instinct is, you start to get those self-doubts, and that usually causes conflict. Yesterday, for those out there that don't know us personally, it's nice to meet you. This is not our full-time job. We would love it to be. Because I would love nothing more than to work on this stuff with you guys and for you guys. But for right now, we do this as often as we possibly can. And we generally go into a small panic attack towards the end of the week because we want to get an episode out to you guys and keep the conversation going. And we work in delivery. And yesterday we had a mishap. And we started discussing gut instinct. You mind if I go into it?
Go for it, man.
Okay, so Tyler here was carrying... We deliver things for people, and he was carrying a really big, heavy mattress. It was rolled up and it was boxed up, so it was condensed and heavy as hell. And when he got up to the house, his gut instinct said to put it in front of their garage, right? The downstairs door, the garage and all that. But he started thinking about it. Yeah, now, right there is our cue here, okay? So the gut instinct said, place it down here. Probably didn't even, no thought into that, right? Just probably should, maybe I'll place it right here. But then, at that moment, critical thinking takes over. Logic starts to stick its ugly head in. Then you start second guessing. Tyler decides after that initial, thing, he goes, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take it up to their porch. Now it's a couple flights of stairs and then a wooden deck leading to a porch. This deck was dry rotted. When he stepped out onto it, the boards broke. Down he went through this deck. The package made it to its destination. He actually threw it before he went down. But then we started discussing that. Actually, no, we didn't discuss it right then.
No.
We went on. Later on in the day, we delivered another package. We were supposed to meet the customer, but the customer did not show up. My first gut instinct was, it's fine. Let's just leave it here. It's a pretty safe place. Let's leave it here. It's fine. My gut instinct said it would be okay. Then logic starts creeping in. We start second guessing it. We start having self-doubts. And after a big, long thing of trying to figure out what to do, calling our bosses, our support, and all that stuff, in the end, we finally got a hold of the customer, and they showed up. And the customer says to us, yeah, you could have just left it. It was fine. So we're leaving, and it was like an hour later, it dawned on us both that, wow, 2 times today in one day, our gut instinct was dead on the money. But our logic started to kind of mess with that, criticize our own thoughts, our own feelings about something, and both times it became something that it maybe didn't have to be. I know some people think that things are just set on a path and fate, and I respect that, but in these 2 instances, if we'd had followed our instincts, we would have been fine. So, to me, that whole scenario is relevant to this subject.
Yeah.
Our gut instinct, whether we like to admit it or not, is that yes, there is something out in those woods with us. There is something watching. There is more between the skies and earth that is currently in our philosophies. But our logic will not allow us to trust our gut. Our logic is always going to self-doubt, and it's always going to criticize what we're thinking. But I think that these Nephilim, these Sasquatch, I think that they don't have that problem at all. I think that their logic is, I don't want to say simplified, because I think that's a very big discredit. I would say that it's honed to such a point that it no longer needs to dissect the mundane. I think that if they see a deer and they're hungry, they kill the deer, they eat it. I think that it's as simple as that. It's not that they're primitive, or it's not even that they're a lesser life form. I've heard that too, that these are just animals. They're humans. They're human relatives that are animal-like. I doubt it. I doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because they're here. They're still here with us, side by side. We have more stories going all the way back to Native Americans and beyond that, and in other countries, all over the world, all kinds of peoples all over this world, our planet. Every culture has a story of the big man, the old man in the woods. Well, that's what Lee called him, the old man of the woods. And that's what they are. One name that I heard, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but Native Americans name this tribe had named them, and the name actually meant Big Brother. You know, and they didn't keep them as friends. You know, that wasn't the way they talked about it. There was a big argument last night on Facebook about this very subject. Someone had put up a picture showing some Native Americans, and they were gathered around a fire, and standing above them was a Sasquatch looking down at them. And as always, a person stuck their head right in the conversation and said, "I don't believe in all this spiritual bullshit. This is an animal. They need to be hunted down and killed." Why? Why do you need that to happen? I mean, if anything, I would like to learn from them. I would like to understand them. I don't want to put one in a lab and study it. I want to study it out where it lives. You know, I want to learn how we can be better with their guidance.
Yeah, it seems like after kind of comparing it to our day yesterday.
Yeah.
It seems like you were saying that this stories go back and back.
Yeah.
These beings have been around with us for a long time. So it just seems like, yeah, if they're humanoid, if we're related to them, it seems like this type of human, literally, instead of going the logic route that we did, they went with the gut instinct.
Yeah, the instinct. That's it, exactly.
Route. They probably can't. They don't do complex thinking. They literally just act because that's how they are.
Yeah.
And they don't dwell on small things. They don't care about what time they have to get up to go to work.
Yeah.
They get up when they need to be, and they move on. They take care of their own.
Right.
That's all they care about, is making sure that what's around them and who they're caring for.
Sure.
Their family.
You know that's something that resonates very, very close to my own personal belief. Is, you've heard me say it a million times when I laugh about the world that we live in and that we work in and commute in and all this, and the whole argument that this is a primitive being, that it just doesn't sit right with me, because I look around and I see us, the human race. We spend our entire lives driving back and forth, doing something we don't want to do, to pay for things we don't really need. We're eaten alive by debt. Our leaders lie to us. We can't trust anyone. There's no sense of community anymore. You have close neighborhoods, and when I say close, I mean that the proximity of this neighborhood is a house every arm length away. There's another house there. And how many of them get together and talk and enjoy each other's company and celebrate each other's successes and help each other in their failures? Not many. You can go to church once a week and do that, but shouldn't that be part of every day? Shouldn't camaraderie and community be something every day? This is all artificial. None of this really means anything. When I stand out here in the morning, we were talking about this earlier. I come out here in the morning. We don't have work today. It's a beautiful morning. It was a little chilly, but the sun was gonna come up. And I like to sit here and I listen to the valley wake up. And this is the little bit of the real world that I get each week. Little bit of it. So who's primitive, folks? Is it the Sasquatch that lives in the real world and cares about real things? Like Tyler just said, he cares about family. He cares about his young. He cares about feeding them. He cares about protecting them. The mother, she cares about, nurturing and taking care of her babies and being kind, you know. And they keep you away from their home, you know.
They're not corrupted by this.
They're not.
They're not corrupted by this system that we have. It's like, yeah, I understand. We're part of the. We're part of the thing too. We're doing.
Sure.
Like, we have all this technology. We have these podcasts and stuff of that.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
but we shouldn't let it control us.
No.
Like we deserve every luxury that we want, but don't stray away from these types of things, because that's wholeheartedly these beings out there, they're living a better life than we ever will, because
Absolutely.
they don't we stress this, they don't care about, like, they might have, like, in a way have a god or nothing, but they, like, it might not control them in the way that we do.
I think they do. I think they have a spiritual belief.
They have a spiritual
I
belief.
really do, because, but I think that their spiritual belief is rooted in nature.
Yeah.
That the world itself is probably somewhat of a mystery to them. And apologies to anybody listening. I have a group of ducks that are about to go past, and you're going to hear that. And then I'm going to leave it in. I'm going to leave in these sounds, you know. Usually when we do a podcast, we try to get a clean, quiet background, and we try to get rid of anything that might distract you from the sounds of our voices. But I want to leave in the wind, and I want to leave in the ducks and the birds and the valley waking up, and I want it to remind you. I want it to remind you over and over again that this world is out here. You know, I want you to be inspired to go outside. If you want to go out and you want to sit in the woods and think about Sasquatch and maybe even try to knock on a branch or two, it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother anybody. It's not hurting anybody, because you took the first step. You went out and you sat in the woods and you connected to the real world. So I'm leaving all this in. We have a background track that we use sometimes in our podcast. I feel like it's time to retire it. It's time to let go of it. The idea when we started this was that it was going to be kind of spooky, kind of creepy. You know, we were going to talk about the unknown, and we were going to talk about paranormal stuff, and you were going to be enthralled by the ambient, creepy sounds that you're hearing. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't think you deserve it. I think you deserve real. We're real people. You know, everybody out there. Some of you have stories you want to tell. Send them to us. You know, somebody, you told somebody they don't believe you. We'll listen. You know how to find us. You know, encounters at KentuckyXfiles.com. Send it. Just tell us. Tell us your story. You know, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what anybody says. You need to be heard. And the Sasquatch being a primitive creature, I don't think so. I think that the idea that he's closer to the truth of things is intimidating for us.
Yeah.
I believe that. You know, I really do. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up, though. We really do. We have a lot of really, really interesting stuff coming up for you guys. I am super excited. I'm really excited. I know we said it on the last one. We're going to be talking to the founder of the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Group. Really, really pumped on that one. That's going to be great. We've got leads leading up to a guy making a documentary of the Dogman Project. I think that's going to be fantastic. But there's a lot more. We're going to be going on location. We're going to be trying to capture these weird sounds. That's fun. You know, we're going to be out there. We're going to be in the real world talking to real people and trying to get to the core of this, or at least get closer to it. Get more eyes on it. Yeah, I posted a couple pictures. Angie from the episode Angie and Fish's Encounter, Cave Run.
Yeah, Cave Run. Yeah.
Okay, she sent a picture of her. I put it on the Facebook of a big footprint that she found right by her home. And I I put it up. I put it out there, and people were messaging me, and they said, "Hey, what is this? What are they saying that this is?" They're not saying anything. We want to know your opinion of what you think it is. No one's making a false claim to anybody here. We want to know what you think that picture is, because the more eyes we have on it, the better. I got a buzz.
Oh, it was me.
Okay. I'll start it over. Angie from Fish and Angie's Encounter Cave Run, she sent a picture of a big footprint that was right outside of her home, right near her home, and I asked her, I was like, "Hey, can I put this picture out there?" And she said, "Yeah, go for it." She's like, "I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot. I just don't know what it is." And put the picture out. Had a bunch of people message me about the picture, and they said, "Hey, what are they claiming that footprint is?" And I had to literally say, they're not claiming anything. We want to know what you think the picture is. No one's making false claims to you guys. We want to hear your opinions. And it doesn't matter if you're right or you're wrong about it. But the more opinions and the more eyes we have on it, on the subject, the stronger we are, the faster we get to the answers. Very, very cool. Did you see the picture? I think I showed it to you, the footprint. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And another lead that we got was... I got a message from a lady down in Owensboro, I think. Owens something. Anyway, I'll go back and I'll find it later. But she claims that she's had activity around her place, and that's not too far of a drive for us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to work it out where maybe we can get down there and at least talk to her. Owington Count. There it is. We got a lot of wind coming in now.
Yeah.
Well, at least it seems that way. I mean, the slightest little breeze, and these microphones pick up like everything. So, but yeah, we're gonna try to get down there and talk to her. I know we were talking about maybe going out to Point Pleasant.
Yeah.
And setting up the podcast out there. Maybe doing an episode talk about the old Mothman. I like the Mothman. It's one of the most famous encounters in history, leading up to one of the biggest bridge disasters in history. Weird coincidence, but what they say, over 100 people saw the Mothman that night. Something like that. I can't remember the details of it, but we'll flesh it out. Mm-hmm. But can't wait. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be so cool.
As much as I really enjoy the searching for the big guy, searching for the truth and stuff. Absolutely. I can't wait to get into these other things, especially. Yeah. I really feel like the UFOs and aliens. That's something that I've always kind of. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of people searching for the truth on that too.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. And I've always said this too. It's like, okay, if you believe in both. And these aliens, wouldn't you think that they would they see these other creatures, humanoid creatures out in the woods? Wouldn't you think that they would?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I think
you're flying around looking for people to abduct, and you see this big guy standing there in the woods. You're like, well, hell, he ain't even around nobody. I mean, I'll just grab him. Wonder what that's like. I wonder if their their methods work. You know what I mean? Like, what if they abducted a Bigfoot and he wasn't put down so easily like us? What if he went ham and caused the crash in Roswell? You know what I mean?
Oh, dang. That's, wow. Full circle.
The thing they didn't see or did see was the Bigfoot climbing out of the ship and walking back to the woods, all pissed off,
God dang it. That was a good spot, too.
Yeah, I don't even remember where I was. But I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to go into the UFO topic. It's going to be fun, especially when we can line up some people who have had encounters.
Yeah.
I'm interested in lights in the sky. I think that's neat and everything. And you know what? That just reminds me. posted a picture last week of our good buddy Kevin.
Kevin Wright?
Yep, Kevin Wright sent a picture in of some lights they spotted over the lake.
Cave Run again?
Yeah, down by Cave Run. I believe it was by Cave Run. If Kevin's out there listening, I'm sure he is. He's a constant listener and a good friend.
Yeah, trying to throw a comment up on there if we were right about that.
Let us know about that one, Kevin. But sending some lights in the sky, going across the sky. Did some research about that. Mm-hmm. False alarm, not aliens. Well, unless there's some major conspiracy we currently don't know about. We'll find out later, I guess.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Has a thing called Starlink.
Yeah.
And depending on where you're at in the hemisphere, you can see these go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, bright as it's crazy. I've actually downloaded the app on my computer, and I've been trying to actually figure out a time when I can be awake and catch it, and I'm going to film it. And then I'll put it up and show everybody what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But it's a bunch of satellites, and they're in a straight line, and they go across the sky every so often. Really, it's really neat. Honestly, it's really cool. But I could definitely see where it would be mistaken for UFOs.
Yeah, UFOs. I can. Yeah.
And
get that.
Again, I want to apologize for everybody. I have a group of ducks that are called the Dinkies, and they are deciding to visit us out here where we are podcasting from. So if you have anything against ducks, just smash the subscribe button and let us know. And I don't know who has anything against ducks. That's crazy talk.
Even if you don't like them, hit the dislike button.
Yeah, if you don't like ducks, dislike it. That helps. Everything helps.
Helps anyway.
Oh, other news. I don't know if I touched on this last week either.
There's so much news.
There's a lot of news this week. It's a big week, You can now support the channel. We have a PayPal account set up because we've had a couple of questions asking how we can support the channel. How can we help, So it's the same address for now. It's encounters at KentuckyXFiles.com. There's PayPal, all that stuff. You can send it right there. Anything that you send will be going straight into studio equipment and helping us run this, and we appreciate it. You don't have to do it though. Don't think like it's not a necessary thing. If you want to help and you appreciate the show and you like the show, then that's a good way you can support it. If not, all you got to do is send us some feedback, send us an email. It doesn't matter.
That helps us just as much.
It really does. Just knowing you're out there is more than enough for me. I'm happy with that. I don't need anything else from you. Just throw me some ideas. Throw me your opinions. All that. And again, big week. A lot of stuff. I can't wait. It's just getting more and more exciting as we approach the summer.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be a hot summer with some storming, but I can't wait, man. It's going to be great. This is going to be something to remember.
Yeah, because we're about to. This is episode 19. We're about to hit 20.
Wow!
So we're
That's
actually
crazy.
We started this back in December of last year.
Yeah.
So we're going strong right now. So we're going in to June. We're at the half year mark.
Wow.
For this podcast.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
So yeah, we're trucking along, and I hope that we give just as much great content as we've been giving it. So yeah, we've been trying to set up so many things for you guys. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The only we wanted to have a guest on for this episode, but scheduling was not working out yet. We just got a vacation, so we have almost 10 days to work on content and get these interviews done and get them out to you guys. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. Man, I'm just really excited. I really am. I can't believe that this has become what it has.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But, when we're talking about the UFO thing, about how we're excited about going into the UFOs, I still can't help but think about the whole, there's a big community out there that has a UFO Bigfoot connection. And I'm interested in that. You know, I want to. I've never went into that one.
Yeah, that's why I was like talking about that, like, cause
Yeah.
as much as I said, I was I like searching for the big guy, trying to get the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
But there's like you were saying, there's a community that they think they're linked together. I want to say I don't think that these things are directly related.
Yeah.
But I think it was a byproduct. Like I was saying, like maybe they were cruising around looking for people.
Maybe people are witnessing a Sasquatch abduction.
Yeah, like,
you know?
that's a thing. Like,
wow,
because
that's a can of worms.
if you believe that like aliens are coming down here,
yeah,
studying us, why wouldn't they study a similar creature like us?
Yeah,
they would be wondering why we don't see these creatures.
You know, the other thing that just popped into my brain is, you know, we often assume that aliens are working on the same kind of laws that we are. What if they're snatching up Sasquatches from some other universe or dimension? That's the right word, dimension.
I wanted to say the same thing, but...
What if they're dropping them off here?
Yeah, I wanted to say the same thing too, but you know, it's just it's hard to grasp on that one. But
there's so many ropes, man.
Yeah,
there's so many different ropes to try to get a hold of, and thus far, no one from that particular belief group has come forward to talk to us. And if you're listening, if you're out there, we want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
please educate us. I really want to know. I'm super curious, you know. It's same with the orb thing.
That's what I was just about to say, because I feel like I touched base on this like a while back ago when I think we did our first orb episode, and then we talked to Robert from Swan Lake.
Yeah.
I read a story. I think it was one of the first stories when the orb thing started surfacing.
Yeah.
It was back in the 1970s.
Right.
Two little girls said that they went out into the woods playing around. Then they saw a large metallic object. And then something opened up. They saw a white, hairy man holding a sphere.
Wow.
It was glowing.
Yeah.
So they ran back, told their dad. Their dad ran into the forest.
Oh, yeah.
Ran into the forest. He was gone for a long time. They were getting worried. Then he comes back, and he didn't talk about anything.
What did he see?
Yeah, what he saw. But the weird thing about it goes to the next day, and there was about a dozen people saying that they saw something flying over those same woods that he was in, and a light shining down. In the same, at the same time that they said that he was in those woods.
Well, that's very interesting, isn't it?
So, I don't know. That story was crazy when I read that.
Yeah, that's wild. I'd like to know more. Because
that was the first time, because they say they keep seeing orbs floating around and stuff.
Right.
But that was the only story I found that a Sasquatch was holding one.
Yeah. I've seen random comments, where people are like, "Oh, they're they carry with them orbs. Those are the spirits of their dead."
I've heard that too, because they say that they shapeshift.
Yeah, and I'm interested. The most interesting part about that, and I think that's a beautiful sentiment. That's a very poetic thing to say, but I just wonder about the insight behind it. How did you come across that information? How did you get it? I'd love to know that part of it, because there's, there's a lot of different opinions. There's a lot of different beliefs, and I'm respectful of them. I would just like to know the insight behind it, so I can understand. Sure. I'm not on a path to dispute people or argue with them about it. I just want to know why they believe, why their faith has led them to that particular belief,
Yeah.
I really would like to know that. I've heard stories of there's got a lot of wind here.
Mm.
You know, over back on, we were talking about Steve's page earlier. You know, Steve is not a huge fan of the big guy. He's more like, you know, hey, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. You know.
I feel like I remember hearing his story countless times, especially when I feel like it resonates a lot to him.
Yeah.
When he reads a story from a guy that says that he can't go back into the woods.
Yeah.
And I really feel like
that's
resonates with him because he had that same thing when he was telling his story.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like it took something away from him.
Right. Yeah.
Because it terrified, he wasn't afraid to admit that. Yeah, it terrified him.
Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah,
So, yeah.
I can see that. You know, he's not a huge fan. He doesn't come out and advocate the hunting and killing of them, but he's made it very clear that he's not going to be going out looking for them. You know, he's letting them be, and he's
more concerned about the fact that they are out there and they can be dangerous. I feel like he's more pissed that the government knows about it, but we're not taught to be safe, and especially these national parks.
Yeah.
I know that's a big thing too. They say a lot of these people going missing and stuff.
Right.
And he's like, if they know that they're in there, why are we not being told about it?
Yeah. You bring up national parks.
Yep.
Something that I thought of the other day.
Mm-hmm.
We have a national park right here, really close to us. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any investigations in that area. I want to start digging into it.
Yep.
The place I'm talking about is called Big Bone Lick. And it is the closest thing you can find to a portal to a prehistoric time. There are enormous amounts of fossils that come out of this place, and bones, not fossil, not fossilized, just bones of, mammoth and mastodons and all of these prehistoric beasts, and I couldn't help but wonder. I'm like, there's not been a whole lot of mention of this place. So I actually had a thought that maybe we could take the podcast and go over there. Mm-hmm. And it's a big public park. It's a huge place. There's lots of woods, lots of, whatever. And I thought, let's set up there and let's take a look at the place ourselves and see if anything stands out. Maybe ask a few questions, and talk to some folks, see what they have to say. Thought it'd be a pretty good little investigation to a place that seems like it should have some kind of history there in regards to some of our topics, but it just seems to kind of slip under the radar a little bit. So I thought of that the other day. I thought it'd be really cool to go over there and,
kind of
just take a walk, take a walk, have a look, maybe
have a gander.
Yeah, they have a herd of bison over there too. I thought it'd be cool to look at, But yeah, pretty cool, guys. We're coming up on about almost an hour mark here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we want to wrap it up for this one. We got a lot more stuff we have to work on. So, like I said before, last episode, stay with us, guys. Stay tuned. We got stuff on the horizon. It's going to be really, really cool. And we're going to keep digging until we figure this out.
Yeah. And like always, if you guys have anything you want to send to us, just good wishes, doing a good job. I know I've been hearing so much from Denny about you guys commenting and saying that we're doing a good job, and I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Like if you don't have an encounter, that's awesome. Just getting good wishes and telling us that
really
we're doing something good out here. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are out there and giving us some props.
I'm still not entirely convinced it's not our mothers.
I think
just making other emails and messages telling us we're doing a good job because, one of the fans told me to make sure I, button up my shirt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Okay.
No, I made that up. I'm sorry. That's a joke.
It's a little nipply out.
So, yeah, guys, we'll see you next time for episode 20. And the regular thing I have to do every single time is if you want to subscribe and follow this podcast. We really appreciate it. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook now, which is pretty cool. And I believe we're on a couple of other things. I can't think of them offhand. But we are on every single podcast platform out there except for ones that are not known to me.
Yeah, you'll find it.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. We'll talk to you next time. You guys have a good day. Have a good week. Be good to each other. And we're out.
Later.